Hello everyone, this is Amber with Story Chasing, and today we're going to talk about how you can save money on the road. So here's the thing, I've been on the road for 5 years now. The very first year I was in a Class C RV, which was a gas guzzler, and the last 4 years have been in my Class B van. Not so much a gas guzzler, but it still costs gas to move this baby around and do all the travels that I want to do. So right now we're in the middle of this inflation crisis. Things are getting more and more expensive, not only RVs, but gas and food. And you might be thinking that you're gonna put off RVing because it's just too expensive and too costly. But I want to bust that bubble just a little bit and show you maybe a side you weren't thinking of and things to consider if you want to save money and still get on the road and fulfill your dreams. Because here's the thing, whether you live in a house or whether you live in a van, all those costs are still rising. So you might just still be able to afford this lifestyle with the 11 tips and tricks that I'm going to show you on how to save money on the road, and also using my free budgeting course so you can crunch those numbers and make sure that this life is for you and that you can afford it. And I'm also going to share with you my actual budget. But more on that as we get into the video. So let's get started. So the very first thing that we're going to start off with out of the 11 tips and tricks is one of the biggest savings that you can have in your RV and van life, and that is how you camp. You can save a ton of money. You can either go from spending $0 to spending thousands of dollars, and it is really dependent on you and how you want to travel and what you can actually afford. I want to explain the various camping options to you. The first one is boondocking. You can boondock on BLM land, which is Bureau of Land Management. This is public lands here in the United States where we pay for it with our tax dollars, and so we are legally allowed to boondock or camp for free on those lands. It's usually out in the wild, it's nature, it's beautiful most of the time. There's national forest lands, there's national parks, there's different kinds of recreation sites around the United States too. A lot of these are free. You just have to look them up. There are apps that you can use, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the video, so stay tuned for that and I'll show you exactly how you can do that. So if you plan on doing a lot of West Coast camping, then you're gonna have access to a lot of these free public lands. There are some on the East Coast, they're just not as plentiful. Another free option is to urban camp in cities. Now, you have to check the different requirements in each city to make sure that it's legal. You just need to look at the signs around. You probably need to look up the city ordinances and figure that out. I have a video, which I'll link right here, that's all about stealth camping and what it means, where you can urban camp, and all the ins and outs of stealth camping and the questions that you might have that surround that. Some other free options that are called dry camping, there's all these different words for this type of camping depending on where you're at, are Walmarts and also Cracker Barrels, some Sam Clubs, very few Costco's, but there are some that will allow it. There are some other big box stores that will allow you to dry camp in their parking lot, but again, those are ones that you can look up on the camping app. So again, all of these are free. So far, you're not paying a dime for most of these. Also, if you didn't know, I have a free budgeting mini course that talks all about how to crunch those numbers and put a budget together that is logical, realistic for you. I also go through all of my budgeting expenses so you know exactly what I have budgeted for my RV life and van life, and it gives you an idea of what realistic costs can be. So I go through a list of questions for you to think about when you're thinking about your RV lifestyle and how you're going to travel, and all of these different things to think about when you're putting your budget together. So click that link below. It's absolutely free, and I hope you enjoy it. Now, a lot of these that I just talked to you about is primarily how I have spent the last 5 years of my travels. It's not until recently that I decided to go with an RV park called 1,000 Trails. Now, 1,000 Trails is an RV park membership that's all around the United States where you have access to over 200 different RV parks. Typically how this works is you pay a fee, and then with that fee, depending on what kind of membership plan you're on, you get access to these different campgrounds. Once you pay that fee, you get access to your RV parks, and there's no other charge to you at the RV park. So you can plan to go into the RV park, schedule it, book it, and then go to the RV park and stay there with $0 cost to you. And the cool thing is if you change your plans, you can cancel your reservation before you get there and they don't charge you a fee for it. So that is golden. And one of the reasons why I did not go to a lot of RV parks in the past, because I was all over the place and kind of just being spontaneous with my travels, and so I didn't want to book something and then have to cancel it. Then I would lose out on all of this money, which is why 1,000 Trails is so amazing. I'm going to run through some of the different levels of membership. So the first one that I started out with was a regional membership. So you get, for instance, the Southwest region of the United States. I paid about $500 for it a couple of years ago, and that gives me access to all the parks in the Southwest. Now, if you want to add an additional region, which is what I did last year when I went to the East Coast, I ended up adding all of the regions in the United States. It was about $50 for each region that I added. So all in all, I was in for about $650, I believe. The caveat is I could only stay for 14 days and I had to be out of the park for 7 days before I could actually go into another RV park for another 14 days. So there's some different kind of specifics and requirements based on each membership. So that's kind of the bottom of the barrel one, but a great option. So just recently I upgraded to their lifetime membership. So the one that I got, I'm allowed to stay in each park for 21 days. I don't have to stay out of the park for 7 days. You could literally live at 1,000 Trails across the United States for the entire rest of your life if you wanted to, going from park to park to park every 21 days in most of the 1,000 Trails collection. The lifetime membership is anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 that I'm talking about. That's all you pay for your life, except that you have some annual membership dues of about, I think, $600. So for the rest of your life, that's all you have to pay. And the cool thing is you can resell your lifetime membership and get some of that money back. That's a really, really great option if you're thinking that you're going to be out on the road long term. $8,000 is really inexpensive when you compare that to, say, leasing an apartment or a mortgage, and you get that for life. With that, you're gonna get a parking space, you're gonna get hookups, you're gonna get typically pool access, jacuzzi access, showers, a recreation center. There's just all kinds of perks that come with it. I want to break down the numbers for you on 1,000 Trails. Let's say you were paying $25 a night for each RV park that you were staying at. And $25 is actually pretty inexpensive, because if you're on the East Coast, you're looking at $60 plus, $100 plus a night, depending on where you're staying, depending on the area. If it's Key West versus, you know, the middle of Virginia, it's a very different cost, but it's still more expensive on the East Coast than it is on the West Coast. For grins, if you're paying $25 a night, you would essentially pay off that $8,000 membership in 320 days. That's if you stayed at an RV park for 320 days. That's less than a year. You would have that thing paid off. You can see if you're one that wants to stay at an RV park a lot, then doing a 1,000 Trails membership is going to be really, really beneficial to you. And if you are interested in a 1,000 Trails membership, click the link in the description box to see how much you can get off of a new membership. And also I have a person that you can talk to. Her name is Sandy, if you want to talk to somebody live about it and figure out all of your different options. Sandy is an amazing lady. She's one of my students in my Nomad Mentorship Bootcamp course, and she went out on the road and decided to work at 1,000 Trails and work remote. The next thing I want to talk to you about is the various apps that you can use to find resources, whether it be camping, water, trash, dumping your sewer, finding propane, finding showers. There's all different kinds of resources in these apps. The first one, and one of my favorite ones, is called Campendium. Campendium has reviews on it. If a cell signal for AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile is going to work very well there. It has the website information for each RV park or boondocking spot or dry camping. So it has it all. Free camping, paid camping, anywhere from, you know, really inexpensive to the super expensive. So it has all kinds of information pertaining to each park that you can look at. The other app that I really like too is called iOverlander. iOverlander is one of those apps that's I think more geared towards people with a more of a minimalist footprint in their RVs. So smaller RVs, vans, cars, or maybe B+ RVs. These are people just like you and me who have put information on those apps that would say, hey, I found this cool spot over here off of this boat launch and I want to share this spot with everyone else. So they'll put in the GPS coordinates, they might even put some pictures up there and give a description about the place, things to watch out for, whether they felt safe or not. Another one is freecampsites.net. As the name implies, free campsites, it's kind of like iOverlander, but you have to use the desktop version of it. There are a lot of other apps out there, but those are my top 3 apps that will help you save money as you're looking for camping spots. The next one might sound like a little bit of a no-brainer, but it's a really good tip. Just don't move as much. I know we're all out here in this life to travel and go see places and enjoy these particular cities or areas that we're in. You can still go out there and do that. Just don't move from city to city as much, or from town to town or region to region. Instead, what you can do is go to one place, stay there for 2-3 weeks, even a month if you'd like. Take your car in, or if you don't have a car, it's just a van like mine. Take your van into the town and go sightsee, but just don't move from region to region as much and put on all those miles on your van. For every mile you put on, you're not just spending gas, you're also doing wear and tear on your vehicles. The less miles you put on, the less maintenance you're going to experience, the less expenses you're going to have, and more money that you're going to have in your pocket. And that's what we all want, right? My monthly budget, which has not changed since expenses have gotten higher and gas prices are rising, is $500 a month. So what I did was, instead of adjust my budget up, I didn't increase it. I left it at $500. Instead, what I did is I just don't move around as much. So that's how I still stay within my budget. The next way to save money on the road is to cook for yourself. So go to the grocery store, get your groceries, cook inside your RV in your van, and don't go out to eat as much. Going out to eat is really, really expensive. Maybe just use that as a treat once a week or once every other week. But if you can cook in more, it's not only going to be better for you, but it's going to be cheaper and less costly. And again, more money in that bank. Another way to save money on the road is to buy national park passes or state park passes. The reason why is if you buy the annual pass, it's always cheaper than just paying as you go to each park. For example, in Washington State, if you buy the state park pass there, instead of spending $10 a day, which is what it typically costs to park for day use in the park, you can buy the annual pass for $40. It might have increased by now a little bit, but a couple of years ago it was $40. You can go into the park anytime you want during the day. You can also, what a lot of people don't know, is you can dump your tanks and get water at most state parks if you have that state park pass. So that's another cost savings to you too. So look at those state park passes and see if you're going to be in that state for any length of time, it might be a little bit cheaper for you to pay for the state park pass rather than just paying as you go on a daily basis. Another way to save money on the road is to use credit cards that either give reward points or give cash back, or store cards that will give you savings at that very moment. Grocery stores are absolutely famous for that. So I have grocery store reward cards all over the United States right now. And interestingly, some of them are actually affiliated with each other. So you may only need one reward card for like 5 different grocery stores. So get your favorite credit cards, look at what those are. For instance, I have Amazon. I shop at Amazon all the time. I also have an REI card because I love getting stuff at REI. I get my dividend points every single year. One of my big ones is my Marriott card, and that one gives me points towards hotel rooms, which I do use. Sometimes I just like to get out of the van, but I try to save it for times when I need to do maintenance or there's an emergency and I can stay in the hotel. So those are really great cards to have so that you can collect those rewards and cash back bonuses and save even more money. All right, here's the doozy. That is saving on gas. Gas prices have been increasing for quite a while now, way before the war started happening in the Ukraine. So we want to save on gas. How do we do that? Well, I use an app called Gas Buddy. The great thing about Gas Buddy is that you can have it set to find your location where you're at on your phone, and then you can click on the map function and it will show you all of the different gas stations in your area and what they are currently charging. As I mentioned before, another way to save gas is just don't move as much. The third way to save money on gas is to get a club membership like Costco or Sam's Club. Those cost money, of course, for the memberships. I think Costco is maybe around $60 now. But even if it was $100, the savings you're going to have on gas is incredible, especially with gas prices right now. They're typically 50 cents maybe. I've even seen sometimes $1 cheaper per gallon than what it's going for in the state. So check out if that's going to be a great option for you. Costco is one of the biggest club memberships on the West Coast, where on the East Coast I think it's going to be more Sam's Club. Sam's Club is all over the place, but Costco is just one of those that happens to be more specific to West Coast, and I think some of the southern regions as well. So just remember, if you have the space for it, go ahead and utilize the club membership for those groceries and bulk items at these club discount stores. Another way to save on gas is don't fill up all of your tanks or leave all of your tanks full. What I mean by that is don't fill up your entire freshwater tank before you leave to go to your next destination. Now, if you're only 20 minutes away or whatever, it's probably not a big deal. But if you're hours away from your next destination and you have access to fresh water and that destination, then don't fill up before you leave, because all of that weight adds to your gas efficiency. So just don't fill it up, and dump all of your gray and your black tanks as well. The less weight you have on your van, the more fuel efficiency you're gonna have, which means, guess what? More money in your pocket. Do you see a trend here? So just to give you an idea of the science behind all of this, 1 gallon of liquid is 8.3 pounds. If you have a 30-gallon tank and it's completely full of fresh water, that's 250 pounds of extra weight in your RV that you're having to tote to your destination. Another great way to save money on the road is to switch out your tires. I know when I purchased my van, it was all weather tires, and then I went to an all-terrain tire. And when I went to an all-terrain tire, I lost about 15% fuel efficiency, which is quite a bit. Now, at the time, I felt like it was worth it because of all of the places that I go to and I was boondocking. Right now, I still have all-terrain tires on. I'm not going to switch them out just yet because, well, I've purchased them and I have nowhere to store them. But if you have the option to switch out your tires or keep just all-weather tires if you're not going to be doing a ton of off-roading, then that will save you a lot in fuel economy. Another thing to consider is your propane use. So this might seem a little bit odd, but if you're in an RV park and all of your things in your RV, your furnace, your AC, your stove, all of those things work off of electricity, then you don't really need to fill up your propane tank too much. Usually you're gonna use your propane tank a lot if you're out boondocking. So here's the exception to that. If you have a gas stove, which a lot of people do have gas stoves, you're going to need propane in your RV. If your furnace runs off of propane, or if your water heater runs off of propane, and only those options, then you're gonna have to have propane. So even though I have a gas stove, I have an induction cooktop. I've had this for years. I didn't go out and buy it specifically because of this, but I've already had it, and I just put it up on my countertop and I use that because it uses electricity. And when I'm at an RV park, I can just hook up to electricity on the pole and use that. Here's one of the last ways to save money when you're RVing and out on the road, and that is to make your own entertainment. A lot of times we can go out into nature and we're not spending any money when we're in nature because we're probably boondocking. So you can go for hikes, you can go bike riding, you can go to natural hot springs, you can meditate, you can read books, you can cook more, you can take up a hobby. I recently started painting more and doing some leather crafting. You can just really think about slowing down more and not having to fill every single moment in the day with something to do. You can do a puzzle or play a game. There's all kinds of things that you can do that are free entertainment. You can download movies on Netflix. Of course, when you go into cities, that's where I tend to spend a little bit more money. So you might want to go to some of the touristy things in town and go out to eat, and that's all fine. We're all out here to have fun and travel. But the point of this entire video is just to show you ways that you can save money and not have to break the entire bank to come out here and live your dream and go RVing, and it's just such a rewarding experience. I just wouldn't want you to let any of those obstacles get in your way and think that you can't come out here and live this kind of a life, because you absolutely can. And remember, make sure you click on the link below to my free budgeting mini course that will show you exactly how to crunch the numbers and figure out your budget. Thank you guys so much for joining me in this video today. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And if you know anybody who you think would benefit from this information, click that share button and send them a link to this video as well so they can see it for themselves. Guys, make sure you're out there living your dreams and creating those stories in your life. That's what story chasing is all about. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.